Who is the one person you can't stand? You didn't have to think hard. A face came up right away. The loud one, the needy one, the arrogant one, the one you'd never lower yourself to be. Now here's the real question. Why does he get to you so much? Not why he's annoying. Why does this one specific man get under your skin so far past anything he's ever actually done to you? That heat is not pettiness. It's not a flaw in you. It's information. And tonight, I'm going to show you what it's telling you. Because the man you can't stand is a mirror. What you see in him is something you buried in yourself. By the end, I'll give you the exact move that makes the heat go quiet for good and hands back all the energy you've been spending on him. Stay with me. Start with something you already know, but never say out loud. You've met 1,000 annoying people. Most of them slide right off you. The slow driver, the guy who talks too much at work, the one who chews loud on the train, a flicker of irritation and it's gone by the next stop. And then there's him. The one man who makes your chest go tight and hot every single time, in a way that's completely out of scale with anything he's ever actually done to you. That's the part to notice. Not that he annoys you, that the annoyance is too big. Think about it. If he were really just a fool, you'd forget him by morning the way you forget the loud chewer. You don't lose sleep over a clown, but this one stays. You replay what he said. You rehearse what you'd say back to him. You feel something almost like disgust when his name comes up. And you tell yourself it's because you have standards, because you can see what he is and other people can't. Maybe. But ask yourself one thing. If this is only about him, why is so much of you tied up in it? Why does a man you could walk away from in 10 seconds get a permanent seat in your head? Here's the rule. The size of a reaction is data. A small offense gets a small response. When the response is huge and the offense is small, that extra heat is coming from somewhere. And it isn't coming from him. So if the heat isn't really about what he did, then what is he? He's a mirror. You look at him and you think you're seeing him. You're not. You're seeing a part of yourself reflected back and reacting to it like it's a stranger. Carl Jung had a word for this: projection. You take something that actually lives inside you, a trait, a hunger, an impulse you don't want to admit you have, and you feel it as if it lived out there, in him. And here's where it comes from. Last time, we talked about the mask, the front you built so the world would let you through. The capable one, the calm one, the one who's always fine. But every time the mask decides what to show, it also decides what to hide. You can't be the strong one without burying the part of you that's weak. You can't be the easy one without locking up the part that's furious. You can't be the man who needs no one without exiling the part of you that aches to be held. Whatever the mask hid didn't disappear. It went into a back room. Jung called that back room the shadow. And the book Man and His Symbols defines the shadow in a way I want you to feel how exactly it fits you. The shadow, it says, is made of those qualities and impulses he denies in himself, but can plainly see in other people. Read that slowly. Denies in himself. Plainly sees in other people. That's not two things. It's one move. You bury the trait in yourself, and that same week, suddenly, you can spot it everywhere out there. With perfect eyesight. With zero patience. And of course you can spot it. You're an expert in it. You spent years policing it inside your own skin. So when another man walks around openly being the thing you strangled in yourself, loud, needy, arrogant, soft, a part of you doesn't just disapprove. A part of you can't stand that he's allowed. And there's a reason it's almost always a man and not a woman or a child. The same book says it plainly. It is particularly in contacts with people of the same sex that one stumbles over one's own shadow. We do see it in the opposite sex, it says, but we're usually much less annoyed by it. Your shadow is a man, so it's another man it lands on. Same arena, same game, and the reflection fits your own face. So how do you find the exact trait you're projecting onto him? You don't have to dig for it. He's already pointing right at it. Here's the move. Do it tonight on the one man whose face came up when this video started. It has 2 steps. Step 1. Rate the heat. Honestly. How big is your reaction compared to what he actually did? Not what he represents. Not the principle of it. What he literally did. He talked too much at the dinner. He posted something smug. He asked for too much reassurance. Now, hold your reaction up next to the act. If the act is small and the reaction is huge, that gap is the whole tell. Everything above a fair response is yours. That overshoot is the part you're projecting. There's a reason this works, and it comes straight from the source. Man and his symbols names the tell almost word for word. If you feel an overwhelming rage coming up in you when a friend reproaches you about a fault, you can be fairly sure that at this point you will find a part of your shadow of which you are unconscious. Overwhelming rage, out of proportion to what was done. That oversized heat only shows up when the thing being touched is buried in you. The bigger the heat, the more of you is down there. Step 2. Strip it down to the bare trait. Take the insult you'd throw at him. He's so needy. He's such an arrogant fraud. He's pathetic and soft. And cut away the contempt until one plain word is left. Needy, arrogant, soft, loud. Then say this out loud, alone, with no one to perform for. The part of me I never let be blank. I can't stand him for getting to be it. You'll know you found the real word because you won't want to say it. You'll try a few safe ones first, and they'll feel almost academic. Then you'll land on the one that makes you wince. That wince is the proof. The trait you least want to claim is the one that's yours. And when the right word lands, you'll feel something shift in your body. The heat drops. It goes from a hard, righteous burn to something quieter, almost like grief. Because for the first time, the trait isn't out there on him. It's named in here in proportion. And a mirror only works as long as you don't know you're looking at yourself. Now, most men flinch right here and refuse to say it. And that flinch is the whole trap, so I want to name it for you. When you go to say, the part of me I never let be needy, something in you recoils. Because owning the trait feels like becoming the man you hate. As if admitting there's neediness in you makes you the needy fool. So you don't say it. You'd rather stay angry. Anger feels clean. Anger keeps the trait safely out there, on his side of the line, where you can keep pointing at it. Staying furious at him is how you keep proving you're not him. And there's a hidden comfort in that. As long as he's the needy one, you get to be the self-sufficient one. As long as he's the arrogant one, you get to be the humble one. He holds the trait so you don't have to. That's why, secretly, you don't even want him to change. If he reformed, you'd be left holding the thing yourself. But that's the trap. And the book names the price, exactly. When you keep the trait pinned on him, a part of your own personality stays stranded on his side of the line. And the result, it says, is that we constantly, though involuntarily, do things behind our own backs that support this other side. Sit with how strange, and true that is. By refusing to own the buried trait, you don't escape it. You hand it the wheel. The man who can't admit he's needy gets needy in ways he never sees. Clinging, controlling, keeping score. The man who buries his own confidence ends up a doormat or a quiet sniper, never just openly, cleanly strong. The trait runs your life from underground precisely because you won't look at it. That's why the trigger never fades on its own. White-knuckling won't end it. Avoiding him won't end it. As long as the trait stays buried, the next man who fits the mirror lights you up all over again. So the way through is not to picture yourself as a cleaner, calmer, more enlightened man with no needy or angry parts. That fantasy is just the mask again, wearing a halo. Jung's instruction cut the other way. You don't become whole by imagining yourself full of light. You become whole by making the darkness conscious, by turning and facing the buried thing. And here's the relief hiding in that. Owning the trait does not turn you into the man you hate. The opposite. He is possessed by the trait. It runs him, raw and blind. You're choosing to know it, to hold it, to let it inform you in proportion. He is the needy man. You become a man who can need without shame, and so doesn't have to leak it everywhere. That's not the same fate. That's the upgrade. Then, think about what that buried trait has actually cost you. It cost you energy, real energy. Every argument you rehearsed with him in the shower, every flush of rage when his name came up, and every ounce of effort it took to hold a part of yourself down so it would never surface. You never even knew you were doing it, but you've been doing it for years, and it is exhausting. Take the reflection back, and all of that stops. The energy you spent hating him and the energy you spent burying the trait both come home to you, and the trait comes back with it, and now you can actually use it. Because the book is clear that the shadow isn't just garbage to be managed. The shadow, it says, usually contains values that are needed by consciousness, but that exist in a form that makes them hard to use. The thing you exiled was never worthless. It was a power you couldn't hold yet, so you threw the whole thing away. The neediness you buried, underneath it, is the ability to want, to reach for people, to let yourself be close. The arrogance you hate in him, strip off the ugliness, and underneath it is just confidence. The right to take up space and back yourself. You buried that to be humble and likable, and it left you small. Take it back, in proportion, and you stop being the man who shrinks in the room. So, watch what happens to the man who triggered you once you've taken the reflection back. He gets boring. That's how you know it worked. The next time his name comes up, you wait for the heat, and it's just not there. He's the loud chewer on the train now. A flicker, maybe, then nothing. Not because you forgave him, not because you took the higher road, because there's nothing left to reflect. He turned back into what he always was, a stranger who has very little to do with you. And here's who you become. Not a man with no triggers. That man doesn't exist. A man who knows how to read them, who feels the heat rise toward some loud, smug, needy stranger, and instead of building the case against him, goes quiet and asks one question. Which part of me is that? The men who used to run you stop running you. Each one is just holding up a mirror, showing you one more piece of yourself you buried. You won't run out of them. There's always another man holding another buried trait, but each one you read and take back is a piece that's yours again. And a man who used to cost you sleep now costs you nothing. That's the man this was always pointing at. Not the man with no shadow. The man who stopped fighting his own reflection and went and collected every exiled piece of himself back into one whole man. Bigger, steadier, harder to throw, with all that wasted energy finally his to spend. So the next time that one man's name comes up and you feel the old heat start to rise, don't build the case against him. Don't reach for clown or fool or beta. Just go quiet and ask the question. Which part of me is he holding? Name it, in proportion, and take it back. If that put a name on a face you carry, the free 7-day starter walks you through this exact move. Rate the heat, find the buried trait, take it back. First link below. The full shadow work workbook takes you all the way down. That link's right under it. Next time, the golden shadow. The same mirror, in reverse. The greatness you envy in other men is your own buried power. The part of you haven't claimed yet. I'll see you there.